We are live. How's everybody doing today? I love doing these interviews every Thursday. Always a pleasure. Thanks everybody who joins regularly, and if you're new, we're thrilled to have you. People from all over the world. And I have to thank SupConnect because they've allowed me to do this for 2 years. In fact, this is 99. Next week, we're going to have a porch party and celebrate the 100th different live SupConnect. And we've interviewed different people along the way, but we're going to have a whole mishmash of all kinds of people next week, so super excited. But first things first, we have a great interview today with a lovely young lady, Juliette DuHaime. I actually know her, but I don't know how to say her last name. Celine is her beautiful middle name. From two places, both New Jersey and Argentina, and not everybody who follows knows that about her. I believe a dual citizen. Tons of sports background, a total athlete, but not really water related. A whole bunch of sports she's done in her youth. She is still young, but in her earlier days. She's a great sup racer, a really new rising star, which is so cool to say about things happening in the pandemic, because for a lot of people it was a tough time and it was slow, but watch out, she showed up. Also loves teaching and sharing the stoke. And I'm really proud of her. She also, we joke about addiction to water and paddling, but it has a very serious side. And she's going to share about that today too. So let's see if we can find Juliette. Let's see all kinds of people. Ocean Cat Candace is here. She is amazing. And we are all so proud of her. I thought you were in the middle of a flight, or maybe you are. Great to see lots of people. She's also in North Carolina, and there's lots going on in North Carolina, which is very exciting. And we're going to talk about the competition she's in. I believe it already started, the Pro-Am. It's a surfing competition. And then also she is going to be in the Carolina Cup next weekend. You are. Okay, so I just invited her on, and she can correct the things I got wrong, but yay!
Hi!
So excited to talk with you.
Aw, thank you so much, Kristen. I'm so excited to be here, and yeah.
Well, you are young, but you have lots of stories to tell already. Having grown up first in New Jersey and then in Argentina, traveled back and forth a lot. I know you have multiple jobs, and I don't know if you heard the intro. You're also going to share something close to your heart and special about how addiction has affected your life, which I think is so brave of you to share, and we appreciate that. Yeah. But you have lots of fans, new and old here. Oh, Infinity's on too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bathroom, lots of people. Yeah. So it's 4:00 there. Has your competition started? I was mentioning you're part of the Carolina Pro-Am, right? Has that gotten going yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that starts tomorrow. What I've heard is that the pros are going to go tomorrow, and the rest are going to go on Saturday. But I'm so excited. So after here, I'm going to actually head to Wrightsville.
That's great. So where are you in North Carolina? You're in a different part.
So yeah, right now I'm in Hubert, which is like 15 minutes from Emerald Isle, which is where I ocean rescue lifeguard.
Very cool. Yeah, I wore my sort of closest to a lifeguard shirt thing that I had.
There you go.
Because I know you do that there. Really enjoying following you and all the different things that you're doing. We usually start though with that stand-up paddle story. I think you said you were 19 when you found it and you fell in love. What's your story on stand-up?
Just if anyone's wondering, this is mate argentino. It's a traditional Argentinian drink.
Awesome.
I drink it a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I started paddling in 2017. I was 19. Yeah, the first time I stood on a board was actually in Long Beach Island, in New Jersey. And it's kind of like, those places where they give you the board and they're just like, all right, go. Like, they don't even teach you how to hold a paddle or anything. It was exactly like that. I went with my family, and it was okay. Like, it wasn't like I was like, wow, this is really cool. But I didn't fall or anything. So that was good. But then when I went back to Argentina that year, I saw a guy giving like a lot of lessons in the river, in the Paraná River. And I was with a friend at the moment. I'm like, whoa, that looks really cool. And he's like, yeah, his name's Francisco. just hit him up and he'll give you a lesson. And I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. And so, yeah, I messaged him and we arranged a lesson. And that first time that I got on the board there, it was a totally different experience. Like, he gave me the whole introduction, and like, it was just cooler. And I was also paddling in a place that, like, I always had a river where I was living and growing up in Argentina, but I never really went in it that much. And it's really cool. Like, you can see the whole coast of the city, and it was a really cool experience. And yeah, I was going through a pretty tough time. And yeah, we'll get more into that now.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I mean, I've heard other people say it too, that sometimes stand up, whatever it is good in life can save you, can pull you out of things. So we'll talk about
Yeah.
that in a minute. But how cool that not only are you from two places, but you actually kind of started stand up in two places. But glad to hear the lesson went well and being with someone. We totally encourage people to do that, even though it seems, and in some ways it is an easy sport. It's better to start it right from the start and to get feedback and to know what you're doing. So good for you for finding Francisco.
Yeah,
What part, ¿qué parte de Argentina are you from?
so my mom was born in Paraná, Entre Rios. That is about 5 hours north of Buenos Aires.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
it the like Mendoza direction?
So it's like inland. It's 10 hours from Mar del Plata, from the ocean. So yeah, the closest, like the only water I had around was the river.
So you did tons of sports growing up, but not necessarily water sports. It was like every team sport there was.
Yeah, I did softball, basketball, soccer, karate, gymnastics, like everything. And I always loved to compete. I mostly got my competitive side from my brother, from Nicky. He is a year and a half older than me, and we're super close. Like, he's my best friend, and I always looked up to him so much growing up, and everything that he did, I wanted to do too. And if I could do it better, then that was also my goal. Uh, so yeah, I always loved competing.
I love that. So shout out to starting her competitive nature to your hermano.
Yep.
Yeah. So my daughter happened to live in Buenos Aires, so I did get to go to Argentina, but not a lot of it. And we went to the Mendoza region before going to Chile. But what an amazing country and a huge country. And I think I still feel like people don't know that much about South America, which is kind of funny as one of the Americas here that we live in.
Yeah.
And it's a huge continent, obviously, with a bunch of countries, but so much goodness there. And I've never been, I mean, the river side of it is fascinating to me, the whole Patagonia and all that way down, and whitewater and all of that kind of thing too. But it's great. We're lucky, even though you haven't been doing it a long time, that you have a competitive background. You have the most amazing balance. Like, I love, you put lots of videos on. You just you hop on those things that I can't stand on with. I use the cushion, board, not the roller thing. Those balance boards, like they're nothing. It's just amazing. Did you notice that already? Was that a strength in your other sports before the water?
Honestly, I don't really know, because like the only balancing I guess I did was gymnastics, but I don't know. I just always have had balance, but I've noticed it now more with like the balance board and the paddling and everything. Like, I guess I'm just blessed with that.
And you work at it too. You've been working hard since you got started.
It's also a lot of practice.
Yeah. When did the transition come into thinking about racing and being competitive after, was it that first one, river lesson?
Yeah, so after those lessons, like the first time, like Francisco was really like a mentor to me after those lessons, because he was like, you're a natural at it, you didn't fall, like you have like the physical like strength to do it. And I honestly didn't know that there was competition in paddling. Like, I had no clue. And so yeah, when he told me about that, I think like, I want to say 3 months after I started, around there was a local race. And he's like, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And he lent me the board, the paddle, everything. And he took me, it was in Concordia. And it was also in a river. Or no, it was in a lake. And I was on an all around board and I won the all around division, like my first race. So that was also like, whoa, this is so cool.
My thing.
Yeah, so that kind of also motivated me, and I was like, all right, I want more.
Yeah. So that was that back in 2017 or maybe even 18 probably?
Yeah, I think that was 2017. Yep.
Yeah. So did you jump in and like when did you first, I mean, you're international to start with. So did you kind of in your back and forth, I assume you're at that point you were living in Argentina, but you visited family every year or maybe multiple times?
Yeah, so I would always go to New Jersey in like July, August, when I was living in Argentina. But when I lived in New Jersey, like this is before paddling, like I would always go to Argentina for Christmas and New Year's. So always back and forth. But yeah, pretty much with the paddling thing in 2017, I mostly just like stayed in Argentina. Because when I took my first lesson, it was going into winter. So I stayed in Argentina. And yeah, pretty much like paddling mostly started in Argentina, I would say. Yeah.
Very fun. That's fantastic. So you only had a couple of years at the most, actually less probably before the whole COVID thing hit and we saw less races. And so I'm guessing you really haven't been in a ton of races. What are the biggest races you've been in so far? Because there haven't been the opportunities.
Yeah, so actually 2019 was my like overall best year, like to the moment, because I got to do the sea paddle, the New York sea paddle, which was 25 miles. That was a big race for me because I've
So did you
never.
do the whole thing? You didn't do it as a relay?
No, I did it the whole thing and I
Nice.
won, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a major one.
Yeah, I had no clue like that I was even capable of doing 25 miles because I had never done it before. I kind of just winged it and went for it and surprised myself.
Good. Well, good for you. That's fantastic.
So yeah, that would be one. And then I did the APP, my first APP in Long Beach, New York. And that was also a really fun one. It was like my first time competing with like Fiona and Seychelles, and I was just like super intimidated. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, good for you and jumping right in and all, especially again, like you said, sports background, but not necessarily water background. And some of the top, I mean, you're already in the top. One of the very strange things in our sports is that you just kind of, pro, elite, age grouper, it's what you call yourself. There's no actual definition. But you did APP put you in or allowed you in. I know sometimes you have to be like a known entity, but you got invited and were able to race against those ladies.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure I sent them an email and I kind of gave them a background of what I've been doing, and I already had I think a national title in Argentina. So that I guess that might have helped too.
Yeah. Have you been involved with ISA or ICFs yet?
Yeah, so also another big race would be the World Championship in El Salvador. I got to do that one. I did the sprint and the long distance. That was super fun. That was awesome.
Great. Yeah. That's also, you have actually in this short amount of time and with the whole pandemic thrown in, you have done a lot. That's super amazing. But I'm most excited. I know you said 2019 was your best year and there wasn't that much in those years in between. This year is going to be your best year, even bigger.
This year is going to be awesome.
Things are starting to happen. You're getting really involved. Carolina Cup race. You're going to do the surf contest. It sounds like, so that will be super fun. That's going on, the Carolina Pro-Am. Shout out to all the people who are there for that. I think we have a few on the call. And then next week, the gathering place, Carolina Cup, where a lot of us come together. I'll be seeing you there.
Yeah.
And In fact, you might be on next week's broadcast because I'm making it a porch party celebration.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, this is going to be my second Carolina Cup. Last year was insane. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Hopefully
That was
not that bad.
I know, but we've done it, so now it can't be worse than that, pretty much. Because I've
Exactly.
done it a lot of times. That was the toughest conditions by far. It was, of course, at an unusual time of year. So
Yeah.
this should be better. And you're doing the graveyard, and so it's not the first time. Again, you did it last time, but those conditions were so unusual.
Yeah, and the course was different. So honestly, this is kind of like my first real graveyard, I would say.
But you're going to do great. But for those of you who don't know, I think I've talked about Carolina Cup, but it is an amazing long race. It's 13 miles, but it has potentially every type of racing that we do, because you start into the waves on the ocean side. They tend to wait till the morning of to decide which direction, hoping to take advantage of wind direction at the beginning and end. And then you go in through the intercoastals. One way you go in or out is actually a channel that's marked, but the other way is naturally occurring. And so ever-changing tides and waters. Super interesting, though. And then we have the intercoastals. So there's headwind, downwind, hopefully.
Yeah,
and,
hopefully good downwind, yep.
Yeah, but the people who are there are definitely commenting, no more like last time. Thanks, Megan. Totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. But it's all good. We're ready for it. I'm going to do the best I can and just enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. Very fun. So, yeah, hopefully ISAs is in Puerto Rico. So I don't know. I think countries are figuring out how they identify their teams and all. I know here in the U.S. So I assume you have dual citizenship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was born in New Jersey, and then when I went to Argentina when I was 11, I got my citizenship there.
Yeah. And totally understand representing Argentina. You know, we'd love you too, but it's a big country with a lot more paddlers, although you have some real talent in Argentina.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of like compete for them because that's where it started for me, and I kind of did most of my races there and got into the national titles there, and and I love Argentina. I love the U.S. too. Like, I love both. I would love to represent both if that was even possible. But for now I'll be representing them.
Yeah, but I think it's in this world of more and more people have that dual citizenship. It's very interesting in the sports world, learning how that works at the top. People do change countries sometimes. You know, you have to a whole year ahead, and there's all kinds of rules about how it's done. Yeah. But now paying attention to, I was born in this country, but I represented this country, or very, very interesting, the different rules about that. So it gives you kind of some flexibility, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
So the lifeguarding, that's a U.S. thing, or do you lifeguard in Argentina also?
Yeah, that was all U.S. That happened last year was my first year, and it's been awesome. Like, I really enjoy being on the beach and just living that lifeguard style. I've only had to rescue 2 people, but yeah, it's thankfully the water here can get pretty rough.
Yeah, we have seen it for sure. And you post interesting things. You were burying, what'd you find? A dead manta ray or something like that?
Yeah, a dead stingray and a few dead birds. I've had to bury them.
The interesting roles that you don't know are part of being a lifeguard, huh?
Yeah, or filling in holes that people dig and leave. Yep,
yeah,
job.
That is that's a huge issue. I remember I was only a pool lifeguard, but talking to people about that, and like because I was saying, more people get hurt by the pool just because they trip and fall and like bite through their lips and dumb things. But people break ankles, I guess, quite a bit in like holes and stuff that people leave when they do sandcastles. That really, and then they're jogging on the beach and they go down. I didn't realize that was such an issue.
Yeah, and also since we have Jeeps and the police also has Jeeps, like, it's kind of dangerous, like, for us if we're responding to a call or something, like, to fall in a hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would think that would be. Absolutely. Well, you were open to sharing about, and you mentioned already when you started stand-up paddling, you were not in a great place in some ways. So I know it's wonderful, and you're blessed to not be in that place anymore. But tell us about kind of your path and how you got out of.
Yeah, for sure. So in 2017, I was pretty much addicted to cocaine. And it was because of bad people I was hanging out with. Like it was probably going on for like a year. Which, yeah, it was really bad, really, really hard on me, my family, and everything. And it got to a point that it was so bad that I had to ask for help to my parents. And
Good for you.
yeah. So, like, when I was at that point that I asked for help is exactly the moment when I met Francisco and I started paddling.
Meant to be.
It was God's plan, and yeah, I'm very thankful for it. And yeah, it was not easy, but yeah, paddling saved me.
So with the help of parents and Francisco and Pat stand-up paddleboarding,
Yeah, for
you
sure,
did
for sure.
pull yourself away from that. And now we talk about our healthy addictions to
Mm-hmm.
water and paddling. You mentioned that you're pretty sure you have not missed paddling for more than maybe 2 weeks in the
Yeah,
whole time you've been paddling. That's amazing.
yeah. Like as I said, that when I started paddling, that became like my therapy. Just being in the water, just like connecting with everything. Just it was better than going to a psychologist. Like I tried going to a psychologist, but I couldn't really connect with her. So I would go paddling, and that literally would just like get me thinking about everything, reflecting, and just put my mind on something else.
Yeah. Water can be therapy in so many ways.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Other people are totally agreeing with you. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
for
really
sure. I mean,
awesome.
yeah, it's something that like it's good to know that like there's you have so many people in your life, and it's not you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help. And just like, of course, if you have like an addiction, I feel like you have to find that something that is going to like replace your addiction. So now I'm
Yeah.
addicted to stand-up paddling
Yeah.
and going in the water and everything. And yeah, ever since I started, I have not done that again. So I'm very, very blessed, and yeah.
That's wonderful. So through these short years that you've been paddling, you also have some sponsorships, and I see your quick blade paddles. I think there's some new ones there I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah, they sent me the T2, which has been really, really good because I've been using the 82 for long distances. And it's like, I mean, it's not such a huge blade, but definitely a 79 is a little lighter on your shoulders, and I like it a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah. And talk about some of the others and how you use those, and then the boards that you use.
Yeah, for sure. So then I also have the 82 UV, which is more of like my sprinting and technical race paddle. And yeah, he also sent me a 77 UV for SUP surfing, which I haven't used it yet. I'll use it tomorrow. I'm super excited. And yeah, and Infinity has been just amazing, amazing. And I'm super blessed and grateful for Dave and the whole team just for incorporating me as a rider. That was a dream come true. Like, I remember it was in 2021, it was last year when I joined the team, and the boards, my race board and SUP surfboard actually got to me on my birthday. So
Oh.
it was like, oh my gosh, it's the best birthday ever. And yeah, so I ride the 14 by 21 and a half Blackfish. I love the flat.
Nice and narrow, but you can handle it. I've seen you on
Yeah.
it. You make it look easy.
Yeah, for sure. It's an amazing board. It's really good for like all conditions, honestly. Like I've used it in sprint races and long distances, downwinds, everything, and it's amazing. And yeah, I've been grateful to also be part of Black Project.
Great.
Yeah, they've sent me a lot of fins as well, so I love their fins. They're really cool. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So it's great that you're involved, again, not being water sports from super young, in surfing too. So talk about how and where you learned to surf. I assume, like you said, Long Island, you did an APP.
Yeah.
They usually have a surf. Did you jump right in then into the
So
surf
no,
car?
there I didn't do the surfing. My first sub surf competition was last year at the Carolina Pro Am. That was my first one, and
And
probably
you're
before,
back. Yay.
yeah, and
Bunch of great
probably,
people who put that on. Shout out to Rob and Haywood and
oh
everybody.
yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing, super cool people. But yeah, before that, like it's probably been, I want to say like not even a year that I started surfing.
Good for you. Way to
Yeah,
jump in. And it's an essential skill in the variety of types of races that we have to have that. And with your balance, I'm sure that helped it come about. But it's time on the water, isn't it? More than anything.
for sure. And also, I've learned a lot of like paddle racing and subsurfing by just watching videos.
Yeah, yeah. I think at the beginning we couldn't find people who paddled, and that's how. I mean, it was watching video in person, and so you had to watch videos if you wanted
Yeah,
to try to learn. Um, that's part of why I started racing, was just to go see what people were doing and see
yeah,
how I was supposed to be doing this sport.
for
But
sure.
Juliette, yeah, I agree with the goat boater. You are a rock star,
Uh,
absolutely. How about some tips? I don't know if when it comes to fairly naturally, or you, like you said, gymnastics, probably balance beam, you were doing balance stuff, but for people who need to work on that, because it's really a challenging part for many in our sport, the balance. Any tips on or off water things to work on, maybe to improve balance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things that you can incorporate in your daily workouts, like balance related, like doing stuff on a Bosu ball or getting a balance board. There's a ton out there. And it's kind of like to have your best balance, obviously you have to lower your center of gravity. So work on like doing stuff with that you have to balance, or like one-legged stuff. And just practice it and lower your center of gravity, and then
Dang
little by
low.
little. Yeah.
Get in that squat position, right?
Oh yeah, get those legs strong.
Yeah, it's I think that was very much underestimated how much leg is important, to our to what we do. So
Yeah,
important.
for sure. And also like your core, you have to have everything pretty strengthened, and it'll all come together. And yeah, just practice it a lot. I would just say just time on different things, and yeah.
Yeah. So the Bosu ball, just that's one thing I've never had, but looks I've been on them and thought, oh, there's so much potential. Do you use it more with the flat side down, standing like on the mushy part, or arms or whatever you're
I
doing,
mean,
or do
I
you use
kind
it
of,
more the other way with the flat side up?
yeah, I kind of do both, but I normally use the ball on the bottom, and then I'm like on the flat side. And so like a good workout to do is like when you put one foot in the center of it and do kind of like deadlifts. Like you can do it without any weight, and that'll just also, and use like your other hand to like balance yourself. um those are like, there's a lot of different exercises that you can do to get better at that, for sure.
Yeah. So strength and mobility, and also there's all those little proprioceptor muscles, I think they call them. All these little tiny muscles that fire when we're needing to balance, that are super important for races like the Graveyard that's coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And like you said, mobility and like your flexibility, that is also a big part of it too. Like you want to be loose and not like super rigid and like scared to fall. it's also another thing is like to get good at balancing like on a paddle board or whatever, you can't be afraid to fall. So, because the worst thing that can happen is just fall and get back up.
Get wet.
So, I've fallen plenty of times
Right.
trying like those walking things and like turning, like, but yeah, you have to kind of go through all those experiences to be better.
Yes. And it's a sign that you're pushing yourself and learning if you fall in, right?
Yeah.
That's what we tell ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
So how about travel? Travel's been a part of your life, your entire life, going between North America and South America,
hmm
whichever side you were living in. It sounds like every year you've done some of both. But have you been to, and you've been to El Salvador?
Yes.
Are there other places you would love to paddle, whether it's racing or just for the experience of it? Like what's on
Yeah.
your wish
There's
list?
a there's a few. I'd love to go to Hawaii. That is like top place where I want to go. And I've seen that they do an APP race there, so I'm would love to go this year. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but next year I'm aiming for it. I'd love to go to Europe. Haven't been to Europe, so like the race in London, I'd love to do, and just a lot of in Spain. I'd love to go to Spain,
Yeah.
but I'm super excited. I'm going to Tahiti
Oh,
in
cool.
yeah
Wow.
in like 15 days. And I'm gonna also do like two races there. I think there's a sprint race and a downwind race, like
Wonderful.
local races, but yeah, I'm gonna be paddling there. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's great. That's a vacation, I would think. Yeah.
Kind of vacation, but I'll stay training.
Good for you. Good for you. Oh, that sounds fantastic. That's on my list too. Haven't been there.
Yeah.
You have done some big races again, like we talked about, which is amazing. You really have found them in a time where there weren't a ton of races all over. But I
Yeah.
know you also like to share the stoke, as you said, and do some teaching. Where does that tend to happen? Or is it just anytime somebody wants a lesson, or did you teach when you were in Argentina?
Yeah. So it started in Argentina, in Paraná. So Francisco, he has a stand-up paddle school called Sup Paraná. And that is where I started. That is like that was my home base. And yeah, once I started progressing, Francisco's like, you want to start giving classes? Like he taught me everything he knew. Like he's a very open person. He will like teach you everything. And yeah, once I started teaching it, I like loved and enjoyed so much seeing how someone went from barely being able to stand on the board to coming back from the class and being like with a smile on their face and just like paddling and just they couldn't like the stoke. It was so satisfying and awesome.
So good. I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. How about different aspects of sup? I again or soup, but you I mean you sup surf, you sup race. You've done a lot in those few years. Are there there's kind of a lot of offshoots right now. Are there some other things you're hoping to try someday?
Yeah.
Foiling, winging, whitewater.
For sure. So I was living in Puerto Rico for like 5 months before I came here to North Carolina. And I got to actually learn how to wing foil with Sea Kindly, which is a really awesome place there in San Juan. And I also like e-foiled too. I was giving some e-foiling lessons there. That was really fun. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to learning all the water sports, really. I want to be a water woman. Like, I want to do everything, everything, everything. So I'm looking forward to learning how to kite surf, how to foil, like do downwind foils and everything. And I just want to be in the water as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, you're doing so well. I don't know. Do you want to share maybe? Do you have some goals for this year? Or you mentioned some races, but races you want to get to or
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to California, Santa Monica, the APP. I'll be doing that one. Then the Gorge in Oregon. that one I'll definitely be doing. Last year was my first downwind race ever, which was super fun. So I can't wait to do that again. And yeah, I'm kind of just seeing where I'm gonna be able to travel to, because obviously it's not easy supporting myself,
Yeah.
trying to live by myself. And yeah, but thankfully I recently got a medicinal cannabis sponsor, and they've actually been helping me get to a fizz. So if everything goes well, I'll be able to go to those races, and then I'd love to go to London to the APP. And yeah, just try to do as many races as possible, and just get better as an overall athlete.
Yeah. Well, your rise has been amazingly fast, and I hope we had some people on today who are meeting you for the first time. But I see you also have a lot of people who know you already, because you definitely have made a name for yourself, which is great, and excited to watch you continue to improve. So definitely someone to watch. I don't know. They're not doing the surf live, are they? I'm not even sure about either weekend,
Oh,
but
we'll definitely try to post as much as possible so everyone can kind of be there and see what's going on. It should be super fun. I can't wait to see everybody.
yeah, they've got some people saying hello. So your Instagram handle, I don't know how many underscores there are, but Sup Juliette, two on each side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I'm
had
never
to
quite
make it
sure
look
about that, but
interesting.
that
It had
isn't
to look a
usually
little
how people
different.
find people. Usually you just click on it somewhere. So I
Yeah.
think we had it in our information, and I'll make sure it's up on our little Facebook page that we have too. Any other thoughts about stand-up or what you love about it?
Just everything that has to do with the simplicity of being able to get on the water. I feel like all you need is a paddle and a board, and like it doesn't even have to be like the best, most expensive board to get that experience. So I think that's pretty cool. And the environment, the people that do it are all people that, like share the same passion as you, and super friendly. Everyone I've met has been super nice and awesome. And yeah, I also want to give a big shout out to Candace Appleby for training me. I've been training with Ocean Academy, and it's been amazing. Like it's a dream come true to have her coaching me. Like I couldn't believe it at first, and she's just been super supportive and an amazing mentor.
Your coach and your teammate
Yeah.
and your competition, because you're going to be surfing and racing against her in the next couple weekends. But that's how our community is, and we can play all those roles and get together. Well, it has been delightful to talk to you. I can't wait to see you next week, and hopefully if anybody's out there who's going to be in North Carolina, like look us up. We'll both be around. She's there already. And heading down, did you say today? I forgot.
Yeah, after this, I'm hitting the road.
Heading towards Wrightsville Beach, which is a really such a cool, fun area too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks again for watching and joining us. Remember, this gets recorded immediately onto IGTV, so it's right there, and then we'll make sure and get it up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so you can send your friends who unfortunately missed meeting her in person. But thanks all the support. You had all kinds of people shouting out good words and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, KT. Thank you for all that you do. SubConnect is amazing. I love following and watching all the interviews. I'm just so happy to get one with you.
Oh, God. My honor. So much fun. So see you soon. Good luck this weekend. Thank you again for doing this. And thanks everybody who's listening. And tell your friends to catch it on YouTube or IGTV on SubConnect. Take care.
God bless everyone.
Safe travels.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Hey.